Hello everyone. Today we're going to be playing a very different Gettysburg. This is still the Command Post Games Musket Battles system, but because I've played this game literally, the literal literally, not the figurative literally that's used today, because I've literally played this game over 200 times, I want to try something very different today. What if Reynolds had been told to hold Gettysburg? Or what if he hadn't received the message that he could fall back if he needed to? All I'm going to do differently, mechanically, for this scenario, is when Reynolds arrives, he's going to unpack his bags somewhere in Gettysburg. That means he has to hold Gettysburg. If he packs up his bags, or they get captured, he loses. In this version, rather than zoom out and show the whole map, of which about 25% of it's being used, I'm going to basically be zoomed in on Gettysburg, because that's where the action's going to be. And for this first experiment, I'm playing at the divisional level with division blocks. I suspect in the future I'll try it again with brigade blocks and see how it plays. Now it's early morning. Now Buford's drawn first, and we're going to move him all the way up to that point there. And now AP Hill comes on with his baggage. Now in column, he can move 2/3 and come out of column, leaving him 1/3. And he can come within 1/3. He can't actually make it up there, so he's got to stay out of the field of fire. So there's Heath's brigade, and the bags come on, and we're going to bring them off here to the side. And that is early morning action. Turn 2, mid-morning. Again, the cavalry is drawn first, and they're going to fall back to a better defensive position on these heights. And here we have Reynolds, along with some detachments, arriving in Gettysburg. Now racing up there, he's used his full movement and is still in column. And AP Hill has Heathsmen race to the hilltop. Now we enter the combat phase. Before the first round of combat, dragoons can retreat, and so they do. Now in game terms, AP Hill had Heath's division move up, and then Buford's cavalry in the combat phase simply fell back before combat was resolved. What this actually can show is that as Heath advanced, the dismounted cavalry engaged him at range with a spirited fire, falling back as Heath kept advancing. In the end, this is what it looks like. And now it's late morning. Turn 3. First move is Reynolds. Seeing the looming dust clouds to the north, they know more rebels are coming. Robinson pushes forward into some trees along the north end of Seminary Ridge. AP Hill is drawn, and Heath slams into Robinson. Actually, they'll look like this because they don't want to get flanked by the cavalry, which hasn't moved yet. Oh, and as I said, Reynolds unpacks bags in Gettysburg, and a few detachments fan out to protect the bags. Buford's cavalry rally themselves, and now we have Heath and Robinson. Both inflict 2 hits. They flip to spent and retreat. Pender's division of AP Hill's corps and the artillery arrive. Now it's turn 4, midday. First round is AP Hill. AP Hill has Heath's division move to the left. They threaten Wadsworth's flank. The artillery is set to clear the Union off of Seminary Ridge, and he sends some detachments around to the right to cover their flanks. The bags are moved forward. Let me get this turn die aligned correctly. As I said, it's turn 4, midday. Now Reynolds is drawn. His forces have to stay outside Heath's field of fire. It looks like he starts forming the famous Union button hook a little early. Howard's corps comes racing up and out of column. General Lee comes riding up the Chambersburg Pike and stops to talk to AP Hill. And Ewell and Rhodes make their appearance. And now we come to mid-afternoon. Turn 5. Why, it looks like the Union could hold out here all day. First run is AP Hill. First his artillery opens up on the detachment in the woods, driving them back. Then, not wanting to delay any longer, he releases Heath and Pender, and they charge the Union line. Now since the Union has unpacked bags, he's ready to unpack his bags. But where? As things stand right now, right around here would be a good place. But as the battle progresses, it might move down here, and then maybe over here would be a better place. He decides to unpack them right there. Now this block can't rally, even though it's within range of an unpacked bags, because it's in combat. And it moved. Since Hill attacked, Ewell is going to attack. He sends Rhodes' division in. As Early's division and some detachments arrive on the Hanover Road. Next, Reynolds' brigade is drawn, and Reynolds is in a tough spot. Robinson is spent from earlier fights. Can he hold? He knows his bags are right there. They're gonna have to. You know what I forgot to do is bring on Doubledade's division. He could come on turn 3. So he's got turn 3, 4, and now a 5. He can do a 3-turn move. Turn 1 he could have marched his little pants off. Second time he could have marched his little pants off and got to there. So now this third time he could have entered the line fresh. And Robinson could have fallen back here so next turn he can rally. Seeing Howard's corps arriving, Buford's cavalry falls back. They'll be covering the flank. And now Howard's corps is drawn, and Howard attacks up the hill. Now the tricky thing about this is now he's attacking. He's attacking uphill. That is suboptimal, but it has to be done. Skirt's going to have to come up and attack Pender. Howard's division is just off the screen here, but he can get to there, expending 1/3 of his movement points. Come out of column, and he has a third left, and that's not enough to reach and back up, support either of those blocks. So he's going to stay a third back. He'll be right there. Here it is, mid-afternoon, and it's the full combat. The lines have collided. This might be the most exciting single turn of combat I've ever played because the game will pretty much be decided in this turn. Now here, as is so often the case, it looked like one turn would decide it, but there's a lot left here. And like all fights around an unpacked baggage train, this is gonna get hot. It's turn 6, dinner time. Turn 6, as well as turn 2, are the only 2 turns of the 8-turn day when no reinforcements enter the map. But turn 7 and turn 8, everybody shows up. The advantage the South has is that their reinforcements will be right here, whereas the Union reinforcements will be coming in mostly up the Baltimore Pike. It will take them at least 2 turns to reach the battlefield. They really won't get there till morning. And here we go with turn 6. Heath and Pender recover. And Rhodes presses in. He unpacks bags, but you don't want to unpack closer than 2 mounted moves because they can reach that far anyway. Whoops, I moved Ewell when I should have only moved Hill. So Ewell's still back here. Well, now I drew Ewell, so guess what? There he goes. Now Barlow's division is within the field of fire of Heath's division, so they're going to move back to a safe distance, but they can't recover this turn. Skirts can recover, and just to be sure, Steinwer moves forward and backs up Barlow. Does Buford want to go left or right? He's going to go right. And last is Howard. He pulls Doubleday out, moves Robinson's fresh block in, and supports him with Wadsworth's elite division. And now we move to dinner time combat. The South chooses the order. They're going to attack this detachment first. And the detachment disintegrates. Now we have a total of 4 spent units fighting each other. Wadsworth is in a tight spot. He's used his elite status already, so if he gets 2 more hits he's eliminated. He falls back. And now we go to turn 7. It's early evening. Most of Sickles' corps shows up, and Slocum's corps. For the Confederates, the remainder of Ewell's and A.P. Hill's corps arrive. First up is First Corps, but Ewell's going to try and jump ahead. He succeeds, while Reynolds tries to jump ahead of him. He fails. This is desperate. Howard tries. He succeeds. Now A.P. Hill tries to jump ahead of Ewell. He succeeds. Heath contacts the bags, attacks Steinwer in the flank. Pender attacks them in front. Artillery detachments form up the flank. He's in the city now, and he becomes spent. Now these Union divisions would like to pull out of here, but they can't maneuver out, so they're stuck right there. Sending skirmishers out front, Skirts attacks the artillery and guards his flank with another detachment. Now Ewell's men attack. They can't actually fit through there, so they attack this way. And even though these are all messed up like that, it's all fought as one consistent battle. The detachments move to mess with the cavalry. Now First Corps moves. Wadsworth and Doubleday move to defend the bags. Robinson falls back to Cemetery Hill. Now I neglected to move on the rest of the Confederate divisions, the rest of their corps when they came up, so that's Anderson's division of 3rd Corps, and Johnson's division of 2nd Corps with the 2nd Corps artillery. Wait, what am I thinking? They also come up the Chambersburg Pike. That is how that looks. Buford's cav fall back. Off camera. Let me roll back and show the incoming troops. But will they get there in time? Will it matter? We shall see. At this point, I'm through trying to predict anything. South picks the order of combat, and first they're going to go right here. Barlow's division receives a hit and has no legal retreat. They are eliminated. I believe Steinwar, especially as he's green, is going to suffer the same fate. They do push back the Southerners, but that's their last effort. Now we have the drive on the artillery. The artillery is pulled back and runs into these troops, but artillery doesn't disrupt troops, and it just passes through. And now we come to the big fight. Heath is driving on the bags. But Wadsworth with the Wisconsin Iron Brigade is too much. Now we're on to turn 8, last effort. First up is A.P. Hill. Anderson's fresh division slams into the bags. Pender's spent division recovers. The artillery rallies. Heath is ordered to protect their right and encounters Skirtz's division. Confederate detachments fall on a Union detachment. Robinson drives into Early. Longstreet is picked to come in, but he'd rather wait. He fails. Ewell tries to jump ahead. He fails. Longstreet's corps gets caught in traffic. 12th Corps is next. They come up and come out of column. Now Ewell's 2nd Corps is drawn. They drive on the bags, and now Johnson moves. Sorry, General Longstreet, maybe next time I'll get out of the way. Buford's cavalry covers the Hanover Road. And finally, Sickles' corps shows up. This is a final combat. Well, we'll do this one first. Union detachment is destroyed. And now the bags. Bags can't be flanked. So we've got 2 separate combats. Now in Gettysburg, the bags have cover. Well, it was desperate, bloody fighting. No one wanted to give an inch. And now as nighttime falls, the bags have yet to be captured. Whoops, one more combat here. Thus far, the North has paid heavily to hold Gettysburg. The South has lost 4 blocks. The North has lost 3 blocks, plus 3 detachments. It's actually 12 points to 12 points. Well, this has been a most intense day 1. Next turn is a night turn. There's no attacking in the night turn. I'm getting a little sloppy here. Here's one more combat. And although the Southerners were thrown back, that was the last effort of Howard's 11th Corps. Both sides have now lost 4 divisions. Plus the Union has 3 detachments also lost. Now in the night, the Union will be able to move forward and protect the bags. But the forecast for tomorrow is hot. Here we go with the night turn. And as we look down the map, we can see that Hancock, Meade, and 2nd Division are making their way up, along with the artillery, coming up the Baltimore Pike. Next, Howard's Corps is drawn. Now during the day, it had lost all its blocks. Howard recovers Skirts and Barlow, along with a couple detachments. Longstreet comes up the Chambersburg Pike, and he still runs into traffic. Next, Ewell is drawn. He recovers 2 blocks, and the rest of Early's division rallies. Reynolds is drawn, and he sends Doubleday and Wadsworth back into Gettysburg. Next, Slocum's 12th Corps is drawn, and they cover the Union right. Sickles' 3rd Corps is drawn, and they move out to protect the Union left. And finally, A.P. Hill is drawn. Since Hood is here, A.P. Hill is going to move out farther to Confederate right. Though he spends most of the night just unsnarling and rallying Heath and Anderson's divisions. And now the sun rises. It's turn 1, early morning, day 2 at Gettysburg. Can the South capture the bags before the full weight of the Union Army comes in? At this point, I'm not laying any money down on anyone. The Union artillery comes up the Baltimore Pike, but only the lead elements are actually able to come out of column and line up on Cemetery Hill. Hood's 1st Corps is stymied by traffic. He's going to try to delay. Away result, that's successful. Next, Hancock and Meade come up the Taneytown Road and meet with Sickles and Reynolds. Well, the Hanover Road is a minor road, and they're quite stretched out. Next, A.P. Hill is drawn, and he's got some plans. He's going to move much further to the west and south of Gettysburg. His forces are hiding in the valley between McPherson Ridge and Seminary Ridge. Next, 12th Corps is drawn, and they fall on Ewell's Corps. Next, Longstreet is drawn, but Ewell wants to go first, looking for a white result. He's got it. Early's division turns to face Slocum's Corps. Rhodes slams into Gettysburg, as does Johnson. His artillery comes out of column and begins moving around. Now Hood moves, and for once, the way is clear. Sickles is ordered to attack and drive back the Confederate forces. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Oh, and when Ewell's moving, the detachments fell back. And now we've got some intense combat in and around Gettysburg. With heavy fighting, Sickles has taken Seminary Ridge. And now we go to the fight over the bags. Blocks and towns cannot be flanked. So you can flank attack them like this, but it just counts as regular. And of course, and they have cover, so the Confederates are firing at disadvantage. And that's it. The bags are captured. Early morning, day 2, Lee has captured Gettysburg. Now in 4.0, it is possible to fight a second battle. If the Union loses at Gettysburg, they can come back a few days later, and then the burden of attack is on them, and Lee is defending Gettysburg. I want to try that, but for now, Lee has won Gettysburg. Good game. Now I know it's not wise to try and hold Gettysburg, but I wanted to try, and it's a fun, intense game. I'm going to fight Gettysburg 2, and then maybe I'll try day 1 again, same tactics, but with brigades, just to see how it falls out. I'm really curious to know what your impressions are of this battle, fought this way. Let me know in the comments below, and as always, please like and subscribe.